Welcome to our third month of school and our November theory assignments. This month, we're going to be focusing on our scales, mainly our major and our minor scales. No problem if you don't know what those are right now, but just as a head up, that's what we're going to be working on today. So let's jump into the topic of major scales. A scale is a series of notes in succession. There are several types of scales. Each scale has a specific combination of tones and semitones, and we talked about those before. The major scale is the most common scale. In elementary school, we would say it's the happy scale. It is built using the following pattern of tones and semitones. So starting from our first pitch, we have a whole tone, a semitone, a whole tone, a whole tone, a whole tone, and then a semitone. So to say that quickly, from the bottom note, it goes tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If we build a scale starting on C, following this pattern of tones and semitones, we get the C major scale. Every scale degree can be numbered. The note that the scale is built upon, no matter where it's placed in the octave, is always referred to as scale degree 1. And you'll notice that caret above the 1. That's that little accent above the 1. That indicates scale degree. So here we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1 with tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. It sounds like this. In a major scale, there are semitones between notes 3 and 4 and notes 7 and 8, or 1. Whole tones occur between the other notes. In the above example, the semitones are indicated with a short, curved line called a slur. By following this pattern, we can build major scales starting on any note. If we begin the scale on G, we must use an accidental, in this case F sharp, to produce the pattern of tones and semitones that make this scale major. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If that sharp wasn't there, we would have semitone, tone for the last two. If we follow this pattern of tones and semitones beginning on the note F, we get a scale with one flat. So we can see here as we go up the scale, F, G, A, if we didn't have that flat and went to B, that would be a whole tone. So we have to lower that B to B flat to create that semitone. The first note of the major scale is called the tonic. The scale has the same name as its tonic. For example, the major scale that begins with D is called the D major scale. The major scale that begins with B flat is called the B flat major scale. When a piece of music is based on a particular scale, it's said to be in that key. A piece of music based on the C major scale is in the key of C major. A piece based on the F major scale is in the key of F major. So now take some time to complete pages 26 and identify what major scales are there. Great. So to go through those really quickly, our first scale would have been D major, and we would have need to sharpen the F and the C sharp. The next one is A major, and you would have need to have sharpened the C sharp, the F sharp, and the G sharp. Our third scale was E major, and for that one we want to sharpen our F sharp, our G sharp, our C sharp, and our D sharp. Next, our B flat major scale, where we want to make sure to flatten the B's and the E. Then we have an E flat major scale, where we want to make sure to flatten the E's, our A's, and our B's. And then finally an A flat major scale, where we want to flatten the A's, the B's, the E's, and the D's. So when a piece of music is based on a specific scale, it contains the accidentals that are found in that scale. Instead of writing the accidentals in front of every note, composers collect all the accidentals at the beginning of each staff immediately after the clef. This is called a key signature. This indicates all the sharps or flats that must be played. So in this first example, we have a D major scale using accidentals. So we can see there tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Semitones between the F sharp G and the C sharp D. In the key of D, every time we have an F and every time we have a C, they're going to be sharp. So instead of having them next to every single note, we can put them here next to the clef to indicate that as long as that's there, all the F's and all the C's are going to be sharp. Sharps and flats are grouped in specific order when placed on the staff, and they're reversed to one another. So if we look at the order of our sharps, they go in the order of F, C, G, D, A, E, B. The way that I remembered this growing up was to remember the phrase, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Then with our flats, they're in the opposite order to our sharps. So literally, we just remember it as the reverse. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. There are other ways to remember it and other phrases you can remember. If you remember better a different way, that's fine for you. But remember, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Every note or degree of a scale has a specific name. This is the list of names for degrees of the scale. So our first scale degree is called the tonic. The second scale degree is the supertonic. The third scale degree is the mediant. The fourth is the subdominant. The 5 is the dominant. 6, the submediant. 7, leading tone. And then the 8, we come back to the beginning with the tonic. You can if you remember tonic and dominant, which is 1 and 5, the mediant is right in the middle of those, and that's 3. Okay. The supertonic is 1 above the tonic. The subdominant is 1 below the dominant, or the 4. The leading tone leads us to the tonic. The only one that can be tricky to remember is submediant, because the submediant isn't halfway between anything really. So we can see here tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, and tonic. Something to help us remember key signatures is called the circle of fifths. The circle of fifths relates keys by fifths. We start with a circle divided into 12 equal sections, like a clock, with C in the 12th position, because C major has no sharps or flats. The sharp keys are set to the right, moving clockwise in order of the number of sharps in their key signature. The flat keys are set to the left, moving counterclockwise in order of the number of flats in their key signature. So we can see here that there are some that overlap. So this arrangement of keys shows two things. First, it shows the distance between each key and the next is a fifth apart. So if we're adding sharps, we start at C, we go C, D, E, F, G. 5 notes, it gets the first sharp. G, A, B, C, D. 5 notes, it gets the next sharp. We could go in the opposite direction. C, B, A, G, F. It gets 1 flat. Again, F, E, D, C, B flat. Gets us 2 flats. The pairs of keys share the same spots in the circle for D flat and C sharp, G flat and F sharp, and C flat and B sharp. Sorry, B natural. These 3 pairs of keys are enharmonic. That is, they have the same pitch, but the notes are named differently. So at this time, can you go ahead and please work on pages 28 to 34? Great. At the bottom of page 34, you'll also see some Italian words to expand our ability to communicate in music. We have cantabile, which comes from the Italian word cantare, or to sing. It's in a singing style. Con pedale is with a pedal, so some instruments use pedals. Dici al fine means or translates, if we expand it, to da capo al fine, which means go back to the beginning and play until the fine or the ending. Dolce means sweet. Fine is end. Grazioso, graceful. Legato, meaning smooth. Maestoso, meaning majestic. Mano destra, with your right hand. Mano sinistra, mano meaning hand, and destra and sinistra meaning right and left. That could be important if you're playing a keyboard instrument. You might cross over. Marcato, meaning marked or stressed notes, and tenuto, meaning held or sustained. So let's continue on to minor scales. For each major scale, there is a relative minor scale. Major and minor keys that are related use the same key signature. The relative minor of a major key is 3 semitones lower. So, for example, the relative minor to C major is A minor. They both have a key signature with no sharps or flats. And we can see here, if we start at C and we move 3 semitones down to B, B flat, and A, that takes us to our relative minor key. Here we can see a list of our major keys and their relative minor based on the number of flats and sharps that they have. This might be something you want to write down somewhere as a reminder, because these will help you with both major and minor keys. To find the relative major of a minor key, we count up 3 semitones. So in this example, the relative major to B minor is D major. So we start with that B minor and we move 3 semitones, C, C sharp, D, and we find that we're in D major. A major scale and a minor scale that have the same tonic are called tonic major and tonic minor. For example, F major is the tonic major to F minor, and F minor the tonic minor to F major. That is not a really necessary important point right now. So for now, please complete page 41 and the beginning of 42. Great. So there are multiple types of minor scales. When a minor scale is written with no accidentals, it is called a natural minor scale. So in this example here, we have E natural minor. It has the same key signature as G major, so just one sharp. In a natural minor scale, there are semitones between notes 2 and 3 and 5 and 6. Remember, in major, they were between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. At this time, please complete page 42 and the beginning of 43 before continuing on. Great. So we got some practice there writing out natural minor scales. So our next type of minor scale is the harmonic minor scale. The harmonic minor scale is formed by raising that 7th scale degree of the natural minor scale. Please notice that the raised leading tone is not in the key signature. So we can see here in E minor, they have raised that D to a D sharp at the end. The F sharp still affects the F, but they've raised that D sharp. So now the semitones are between 2 and 3 and 7 and 8. The E harmonic minor scale has the same key signature as G major, its relative major, but the 7th scale degree, or D sharp, is raised with an accidental. In a harmonic minor scale, there are semitones between 2 and 3, 5 and 6, and 7 and 8. The scale of C harmonic minor has a key signature of 3 flats, B flat, E flat, and A flat. The natural on the 7th degree of the scale raises the B flat 1 semitone to B natural. At this time, please complete pages 44 and 45. Now to introduce our final minor scale type, the melodic minor scale. It's formed by raising the 6th and 7th scale degrees of the natural minor scale ascending or on the way up, but putting them back to where they are in the natural minor on the way down or descending. The E melodic minor scale has the same key signature, F sharp, as G major, its relative major. But in the ascending scale, the 6th and 7th scale degrees are raised 1 semitone, and in the descending scale, the 6th and 7th degrees of the scale are lowered back to where they started with accidentals. In a melodic minor, semitones occur between 2 and 3 and notes 7 and 8 ascending, and between notes 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 while descending. Please complete the next 3 questions on pages 46, 47, and the top of 48. Here on page 48, we learn some new symbols and word meanings. There's accent, which is a stress note or chord. It sort of looks like a little greater than or less than symbol. We have a crescendo, which is a long less than symbol. It means becoming louder. There's a decrescendo or diminuendo, which is a long greater than symbol. It means becoming softer. There's this sign here called the sign, or DS, dal segno. This eye-looking thing is called a fermata, and that means we hold a note until the conductor tells us to stop holding it. We have ottava, 8VA, with the line going above, which means we're playing an octave higher than the written pitch. When we have the line going the other way, it means below the written pitch. We have ped, which is a pedal marking for the piano. These types of bar lines are the beginning and ends of a repeat. A slur means that we play the notes under that slur smoothly, or legato. For us, we don't tongue. They all get connected. Staccato means the notes are detached. These are these little dots either above or below a note. Then finally, a tie combines the value of two different notes. Finally, please complete page 49, and then you're finished your theory assignment for the month. Thank you very much, and we'll hear from you really soon. Bye.